What's up, YouTube? We went to the beach. We're here in Southern California just enjoying the beautiful weather and taking the 2016 BMW S1000 single R for a ride review. We'll be doing stock. This is bone stock right now. I mean, it even has the stock can on it. Completely stock, 100%. And we'll be doing a ride review bone stock air filter, stock everything, and then we're going to throw the BT Flash on it, even with the velocity stacks that are claiming 20 wheel horsepower up top gains, not in the mid range or the low range, but up top where it kind of falls on its face when you hit the limiter. So we'll be taking this whole thing, making sure we do 60 through 130 tests, and just making sure that the claims actually work in real life here, not just on the dyno. So let's get the ride review started. Alright, we are on the 2016 BMW S1000 single R, just making a nice little cruise here right by the beach. So we're going to do testing out our normal stuff, just regular riding. Right now we're 100% stock, like I said before, and then we'll test it with the stacks and flashing. So I mean, outright power, and it feels pretty good, just lazily cruising around. There's no flat spots, there's no holes, just cruising around in the mid-range, low end, which is as expected for a street fighter. That's really where it's gonna live, is right there in the middle. But I'm curious, I put the traction control off here. Can we make second gear wheelie? Oh, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit, it comes up a little bit. Not too bad. It's definitely a struggle. I can get up there if I clutch it, but I'm just trying to go off power at this point. So definitely got a little bit of power in it. The throttle's very responsive. The shifter feels better than most Japanese bikes. The purpose of these street fighters, I mean, this bike has the same exact engine as an S1000R. It's just different cams, different tuning, different gearing. It's made for urban riding. This thing, after about, I'd say 120 or so, 130, probably gonna fall on its face really badly, just like the Ducati Street Fighter we tested. And I'm guessing the 60 through 130 is gonna be extremely similar to the Ducati Street Fighter. The 2020 Street Fighter we tested, this 2016 I bet will be right around the ballpark. This year, the 15-16 S1000R, single Rs, they were not really that restricted, to be honest with you. So great bike, amazing bike. All right, yeah, that feels good. So let's go into why we got this bike in the first place. Why at 2016 we've been doing all these brand new bikes? We got this bike because we were doing 50 state legal testing, and the bike needed to be at the facility for 3 or 4 months. So I don't know any customers are going to leave their bikes with us for that long. You know, it's kind of, you know, more than a quarter of a year at that point, you know. So we bought the bike, left at the facility so they could test it. They test drivability, they test dyno testing, they go through every single little bit of everything we've done on the motorcycle and make sure that it's accurate and that we are accurate in the claims and that it is going to be legal for the street. So we got that, and that's approval on this motorcycle, got us approval on the S1000RR, 2010 to present. So the S1000RR, the S1000 single R, the S1000XR, and the M1000RR. So all those bikes got stage 1 approval just due to this one motorcycle. They kind of all grouped in the same engine category. It's pretty cool. So now that we have the bike, we're like, hey, why not? We have stacks here that make 20 wheel horsepower up top. We're gonna test it, we're gonna do a review, we're gonna show everyone what this does on the Dragy 60 through 130 and show everyone the before and after while we got the bike. Which, by the way, we are selling this bike. So if you're interested in this bike, contact the email at the bottom of the screen. Maybe I'm pointing to it or at it or through it, I don't know. But sales at bt-moto.com if you are interested in this motorcycle. It is currently located in Southern California, and we will make you a good deal. It's had the 18,000 or 16,000 mile service on this thing. We did it before we even sent it to the carb facility, so it's got a fresh oil change, fresh everything, fresh fluids, and it's ready to rock. Now back to the ride review here. I'm putting this bike exactly where it needs to be. This is where you typically, why you would buy this bike and where you would take it. You would take it to urban areas, stop and go traffic. That's what this bike is made for. So in lieu of that, This bike has really good throttle response. The gearing is great for what it's doing right now. It feels nice and relaxed, at least the riding position of it. The throttle feels nice and relaxed, and I've got all the assist off, even the wheelie control and everything right now. You can see the light on there. That's not an error, that's just letting me know that, hey, the ABS is off, basically, and you can wheelie. So we're just taking it here through Southern California, and then I will do the 60 through 130 stock and then 60 through 130 after we install the cool parts and the flash, and we'll see what improvements we make. But right now, I mean, this bike feels great. Honestly, it feels a lot better than the Ducati Street Fighter 2020. That thing felt kind of like a mess stock. You kind of didn't know what you were going to get ever. You kind of nail the gas, and it would kind of like, it was hit and miss whether you're going to get power or not. Anyone that owns a newer Ducati knows this, and it's such a weird feeling that when you pull the throttle halfway, the front wheel may come off the ground, or it may just feel lifeless. There's no odds or ends to it. It's kind of weird. Now back to the carb stuff here. It's pretty amazing. I don't know any other companies that have, you know, 50 state legal approval for this stuff, and it's really important in California. They're really cracking down in California and checking ECU calibrations and things like that. But this is now 50 state legal, and we actually have BMW dealers getting on board with selling this product, the street legal version. If you get the stage 2, of course, that is off-road only, but stage 1 itself is actually a street legal. You get a sticker and everything. So if they do happen to check your calibration in California or anything like that, you're covered, you're good. No one's gonna argue with you. And again, that includes 10 through current, the 2010 through current S1000R, S1000 single R, S1000 XR, and M1000RR. We are working on more models currently. Quite a few brands too, so we've got a lot of irons on the fire here, trying to get more and more street legal here, because we know what's coming down the pipeline. Want to make sure we're prepared, not caught with our pants down. All right, so I guess we should do like enough talking, I guess, and really just kind of see what this bike can do actually, right? Not bad. Not bad at all. Especially for a Street Fighter, you don't expect it to kind of do this kind of thing, you know? Really respectable. There's definitely more than needed for a Street Fighter, in my opinion. I mean, to me, a Street Fighter should only go up to about like max 140, 150, and I think this thing is geared to something like that, something along those lines. So I guess I'm gonna go find a little bit of twisties. I'm not gonna go crazy on the twisties because I do not trust these tires. These are a little bit old tires, so I'm not gonna really go too crazy on it, but I will try stuff through turns and check the throttle, things like that, let you guys know what my thoughts are on it. So I guess let's go get there. All right, so I found some twisties here. Again, I'm not gonna go too crazy. I don't even know these roads, to be honest with you, so we'll try this out, but I don't trust these tires. I really just want to get a good feel for exactly what we're dealing with here as far as the throttle control goes, and what improvements can be made to it, if any. So far it's cruising right along pretty nicely. That was me blipping the throttle there. Trying to get used to the no quick shifter. Oh, not a big turn there. The throttle on and off transitions are pretty good. I really can't complain with the throttle on and off. This turns on as slow as I thought it would be. Impressions here, pretty damn good as far as throttle control goes. I can really ease into the throttle here. Man, it's a slow turn. I can really ease into the throttle here. I can get on the bike. I mean, it's pretty nice. I really don't have a complaint stock on this thing. It just has, for the straights, a little bit of lack of power, but it still brings the tire up. So not too bad, right? A little happy there. Let's slow down for this car here. So overall, I gotta say, this thing's pretty decent when it comes to turns. Like, it's not bad. Throttle inputs, precise, sharp, predictable. I've got this thing with all the assist off, of course, at the moment. So that's why I was picking the tire up. But pretty good, man. I really can't complain. Alright, so it did pretty well, I gotta say, especially for a stock bike. Predictable, precise, good inputs. We'll see if we can improve upon that. I'll let you guys know what the after does. We'll take the same route, do the same thing again. See what this thing does. Let's see if this thing can lift the tire in second gear here. It's really not wanting to. I mean, I can get it to if I crest something, it'll pick the tire up, but it needs that, or I can clutch it. But I just wanted to see if we could do it through power, and it's not really wanting to, so we'll see if that improves with the Flash as well. We'll see if we get more power out of it. So I think that's it for the twisty stuff. Let's go ahead and show you guys the footage of when I did this 60 through 130 stock. All right, we're getting the Dragy going here for the stock 60 through 130. We'll wait for this thing to connect here, then we'll be on our way. All right, stock 60 through 130, 2016 S1000 single R. Here we go. Alright, you guys saw it. It was a 6.1, and that's actually the same as the 2020 Ducati V4 Street Fighter that we tested. That also has pretty severe restrictions, so stock it also ran a 6.1. So these bikes, stock are comparable, but to be honest, I'd rather have this bike if we're talking stock versus stock with no Flash, simply for the fact that this bike is more predictable. And as far as the throttle goes, I mean, coming out of turns, you don't know what you're getting on the Street Fighter or even the V4. When it comes to this bike, you know exactly what you're getting out of the turns. It gives you exactly what you need. It's actually a very, very awesome stock bike, you know, just out of the box. I really can't complain about it. So now we're going to take this thing back, do a little bit of work on it, and flash it. And then we'll do all these testing over again, and I'll let you guys know the before and after. The bike should be sounding different. It should be feeling a lot different. It should be making a lot more power up top. So that should be reflected in the 60 through 130 times. We should see some big improvements. So I guess I'll catch you guys after all the work. See you then. All right, we are back here at the beach in Southern California. Just kind of enjoying the day here on the bike and giving my after review on the 2016 BMW S1000 single R. Now, I installed the velocity stacks last night and flashed it, and already just starting it up, you can hear there's a difference, not only just in the air box and the air coming in, but also just the tailpipe itself. Since this is a stock tailpipe, we got the exhaust valves wide open here with the Flash. They don't shut. So let's hear this. Definitely a better tone, definitely a lot more bass to it than there was stock, where it was really raspy, trebly, barely sounding like it was there at all. Now it sounds like it's on. It sounds like a proper exhaust, and I think a lot of people would probably modify it anyway, but I think there's quite a few people in the single R community that also keep it stock. and just enjoy this instead of buying a full exhaust. So this might even be a resolution to people that want an exhaust system just because they want it a little bit louder. And I'll be doing my after review here, guys. So I guess enjoy the views here and let's get going. All right, riding impressions on the 2016 single R after the Flash. First, of course, we spoke about the exhaust. I'm getting a lot more throttle response out of this bike too. I mean, a lot more throttle response out of this bike. It's kind of crazy. It feels like amazing. And the front tire comes up now. Pretty cool. And we're getting a lot more, like if you listen to this noise, it has a lot more noise coming out of the airbox with those stacks in it. I mean, a lot more. It sounds really pronounced. It's really aggressive. And with the exhaust valve open, to me it just complements how the bike is supposed to be. The throttle, definitely more sharp than it used to be with the power delivery, but extremely predictable still and precise. I definitely like the changes so far. The airbox, the install was very easy, especially because of the install video on the website, which I made. It actually really, I'm really crazy about details, and I like to go step by step on everything, whereas replacing zip ties, what size the bolts are, how you need to replace it, and some tips on install itself. So if you think it's too much of an undertaking, it's really not. Pretty easy to do this airbox. The hardest part was cutting out the funnels basically in these airboxes, because that's what you got to do with the single R stuff here. Now the power of this thing definitely is increased. I mean, it's increased. You can tell. My tire comes right up like nothing, even second gear. It didn't even do that before. Wouldn't even attempt it. So it's pretty good. These gorgeous views, man. Can't help but look around. The throttle, like I said, more precise. The sound, very nice from this thing. The shifting, I'm not noticing any real changes in the shifting. Let me see. No, it feels about the same. There's no blipping on this bike, so I can't test the blipper. I mean, maybe it's a little more crisp, the shifter, but honestly, between flashing and not flashing, it's my honest assessment here, I can't really tell. But the bike is running definitely a little bit cooler. I saw the temps, you know, 210 to 217, right around there. We're cruising at 175 now. It's definitely, we have the fan on temps come on earlier just so we can keep the bike a little bit cooler. Of course, that's better for engine temps, it's better for oil temps, that's better for everything basically. If you're tracking this bike, or if you're getting serious about any kind of racing or just riding in general, it's, you know, heat is always the enemy. You want a little bit of heat in the engine, of course, to get the oil warm and make everything nice and lubricated, but you also want to make sure the engine doesn't get too hot, because then it starts degrading parts and oil, and that's not good. So overall, before on stock, the bike felt great in the first place as far as just rolling into the throttle, consistent power, things like that. It didn't really lack there. What it was lacking was this kind of top end dead spot where it hit the limiter. Now the limiter on this one has been extended. I think it's about, looks like it's about 12.8 or so. I mean, don't quote me on that, but it's definitely extended from stock. And the power carries now all the way to redline. It isn't just a little bit of power here at the top. Maybe I can tell, you can definitely tell there's a difference up top. And I think the 60 through 130 is going to show that pretty easily. I'm guessing, I don't know, 0.4 to 0.6 seconds off the original time, which for a Street Fighter is impressive. Remember, this thing is like, has the arrow of a garage door after like 100 miles an hour. I mean, it really becomes a factor. It's just, there's nothing cutting through the air anymore. It's just you, your body. These bikes don't like to be ran over like 130 miles an hour just because the air wants to rip you off the bike. I mean, there's nothing here shielding you from it. So it's not a bike that's really meant for top end speed. It's really meant for the mid-range, low end, cruising around town, just like what I'm doing right now. This is exactly what this thing is meant for. And then hitting the freeway, you know, doing that kind of stuff. So I think in its element it's great, but also it's an extremely balanced bike as well. So I think we'll see that when I take this thing to the twisties, which is kind of where I'm heading right now. I'm just kind of going through town, enjoying the sights here. It's a nice day, and this is Encinitas, California. We just passed Solana Beach. Kind of some nice, nicer areas here in Southern California. to kind of go to the beach at, especially on a day like today where everywhere else it's like 100 degrees. Here it's about mid 70s. Really nice weather out here. So I've been riding this thing for a little bit, and the shifter actually does feel more crisp, I will say that, but I mean, it took a little bit of time for me to really kind of assess that and say it feels more crisp. Whereas on like the double R's or some of the other bikes we do, it's like a night and day difference. Like the ZX10, the Gen 6, I mean, that is, stock is complete trash when it comes to the quick shifter. And then you get a Flash and you do the quick shifter right, and it's a night and day difference. Like, there's no doubt there was a massive change there. This bike, it was already good to start out with. We're talking maybe minor changes in the quick shifter, minor changes, but I can tell a little bit it's there, and I'm super picky, so maybe most people won't even be able to tell, to be honest. So we're just gonna get this thing up into some turns here. Now we're up here in sort of some turns. We're gonna try and start having some fun, see how this thing acts with a little bit of speed behind it, and in the turns. Throttle control seems to be pretty precise. Braking, pretty good, can't complain. Throttle control, really nice. Gets out of the turns really nicely. Back tire locking up a little bit there. Alright, get around this person and hard on the anchors. Alright, it's not behaving very badly. Oh, jeez, that was a good bump. Cracked my nuts. Wrecked my nuts really good on that bump. Wow. Out of the turn, behaved really nicely. Can't complain. Out of the crest there, really nice. Know this road too well, so can't go too crazy. Alright. Yeah, I'd say overall, not really pushing this thing too hard. It's still a very fun bike. I mean, the sound of it's really nice now. Wow. I just gotta get used to this road. I'm gonna do some passes here later. Really nice. Okay. It even comes up on the turns now. When there's some blind corners. Very nice. Oh yeah, pick up the tire pretty easily in second gear now. Liking the changes a lot. So when you just want the bike to behave, just around town, it's extremely quiet. This is civil. Throttle inputs are very nice. It's pretty amazing. And then when you want to really crank on it, it really gives you that grunt, you know, nice grunt coming out of it, and nice exhaust note, even with the stock exhaust we've got on this thing. So let's go ahead and check out what it does on the 60 through 130 now. All right, we are ready for the post Flash with stacks 60 through 130 on the 2016 BMW S1000 single R. Let's go. You guys saw it. 60 through 130 improved about a half a second. That's huge on a bike like this. I mean, absolutely huge. And that's just a Flash and some stacks. And like I said, this is the OTS Flash, the off-the-shelf, same thing all the customers get, nothing custom. There was no feedback, there was no files being swapped between Brendan and myself, going back and forth saying, let's get another 10th out of this. This is just me running out there. I only made 2 passes, and that was it. About a half a second improvement on the same exact stretch of road that we did the before on. That's pretty impressive, I gotta say. Along with all the other improvements that we're seeing on the bike, I mean, the improvements are huge. I mean the throttle, the actual power itself is, I mean, it always was nice and stable, but it's on tap now. Like, I can literally just smash the throttle and it just instantly picks up the tire, or there's a lot of performance gains to be had over stock. Whereas stock, I would pull on the gas and yeah, give me a delivery, it was consistent delivery. This actually gives me a lot of power over that. And like I said, we're at 188 right now. Before, when I was riding around, I was at a stoplight. And before, when I was riding around, it was 210 to 220. So it's keeping those temps down. Nice and reliable throttle. Nice, and that sound is so nice on this bike. It's great. Yeah, it really is nice, especially for a street fighter. It surprises you. So I know I'm beating a dead horse here, guys, but again, once I put this bike in the garage, it's for sale. I'll post it up. It'll be sitting there until it gets bought. And if you are interested in the motorcycle, email sales@bt-moto.com. We can get you set up to come check it out. It's in Southern California. That's where it's going to stay, and able to pick it up whenever you guys want. Other than that, I think that's going to do it for this ride review, and I'll see you guys on the next one.